Greetings and welcome to Live from Caid. Tonight's special guests are the Royal Highnesses of Caid, Pansa and Katherine, and featuring a live performance by Mistress Mary Dedwydd, Gwallter. Me, I'm your announcer, Master Beorn of the Northern Seas. And here's your host, Master Laertes, McBride.
Good evening and greetings. I hope everyone's doing well. I feel like we just saw you a couple of days ago, but yeah, it's good to see you. I hope you're having a good week. We have a really good show tonight, and just a couple of the housekeeping announcements before we get started, and I'll bring Beorn in. Just as a reminder, as we talked about last week, the May events have been canceled in the kingdom. There'll be further updates as we go forward through this process and adjust to the regulations both from the state and local authorities. So keep an eye on the Kingdom of Caid Facebook page, a Facebook group, for any announcements as things may change as we go forward. And speaking of which, we know that there was an announcement put out that for those looking at going to Pinsick in August, that the mayor of the event is reviewing the current situation, looking through the logistics, and they said they were planning on May 15th as a date to have an announcement whether Pinsick will be moving forward or not this year. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm sure as soon as official announcements have come out, that you will see them in the proper venues. So let's bring my friend, Mr. Beorn on. And here he is. Hey, Beorn.
How are you doing, Laertes?
I'm good. Let's get rid of that thing. We know where we're at. So how was your week?
It was quite well. Lots of baking and preparing food like I usually do.
Now, what was the best dish you prepared this week?
Most likely, I'd say the snickerdoodles or the banana bread. I've been doing a lot of baking for folks that aren't quite ready to do it themselves, and there's like gloved handoffs at 6 feet distance, so people get a chance to have a little bit of some treats from time to time.
Right. I love snickerdoodles, but I can't have banana bread because I can't have nuts.
Well, I don't always put them in. It all depends on for people have allergies. Since I am in the restaurant field, it's something that you it's sort of an opt-in rather than an opt-out kind of thing.
Right. And this past weekend we had the online court. And I thought that went fantastic, right?
I do too. And from what I understand, it clocked in at 23 minutes, which is certainly a record for having several baronial courts back to back to back. That I don't think we'll ever match that in the non-digital space.
Yeah, very streamlined. And but I think a lot of people got recognition. It was a good opportunity for the kingdom to come together. I mean, I think they had over 200 viewers. Live.
Well, now they had over 212 or 13 Zoom viewings, and I know several of them were doubled up or more. So it's a good bet there had to be at least 300 or so people watching at that time. So that was actually really quite neat.
Right, and we've posted it on the Facebook group page for the kingdom. So I'm sure there's people that were unable to watch it on Zoom have watched it too. So probably one of the largest viewed courts in a long time.
I do know that several people that are friends of mine, also my associate who is in Avicall, all the way in Canada, watched it. And so we actually had a court that was watched by several different kingdoms, just showing support for the acorns, the awards of arms, and also, of course, the offering of the knighthood. So a lot of people got seen by more than perhaps they would normally. It was really kind of nice.
Well, we'll touch on that right quick, and then, of course, we'll get to our guests because, again, people don't watch to see us. But so I was kind of behind the scenes on I was doing the switching on the video and stuff, working with the rest of the team. And when it came up to the offering of the knighthood, which, by the way, was for Beorn out in Western Seas, are y'all related? I couldn't preview what he was doing, but we knew we wanted to bring him live the moment that his name was announced. So I was like, okay, I found him, crossing my fingers that whatever was going to appear on screen would be awesome. And it was great. And he gave the memorable quote of, "I wish I had worn pants." So I think that was something that will awesome, that will be remembered for a moment that we all shared, knowing that a candidate for the chivalry wasn't wearing pants at the time.
I'm pretty sure that the shouts of "Hail Chivalry" were resounding across the Pacific Rim.
Yes, it was awesome. It was such a cool moment. It really was. So that's enough about us. It's great to see you, Beorn. So we're going to do like we do. Who are our first guests this evening?
Well, we are very fortunate to have their Highnesses of Caid, Pansa and Katherine, Lord and Lady of Caid, who will be coming to visit us very soon. And we're really excited and looking forward to that.
All righty. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to you. And let's bring in their Highnesses. I get a little countdown, so they're right here. Hi, your Highnesses. How are you?
Hi. Oh, there we go.
So y'all are in your enclave, right, up in Winter Mist?
Yep. Nice, cozy. Nice,
I know. And how are you both? How are you both doing tonight?
We're doing well.
Good as best as we can in this situation. So.
Right, and court was awesome on Saturday. It really was.
It was a great experience. Very short court, but just behind the scenes stuff was amazing to watch and like to be able to see and hear about. It was really awesome. I think you guys did an amazing job.
Oh well, thanks. But the community, getting them together and getting people recognized was so cool. And I hope you enjoy court because during the rain, courts only run 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, go and get so far, yeah.
See if we can keep that going.
Right. So, so do you have any big plans for coming up for your reign that's coming up? Are we still on track, at least as it stands right now, to do coronation in July, like we've been talking about, or is that still kind of up in the air, or what's going on?
Still up in the air.
Still up in the air. It just depends on how this quarantine goes, and hopefully this virus doesn't spread any worse. So at this point, it's definitely still up in the air.
Okay. So, but I'm sure as we get closer to the time, we'll let the populace know what to plan for and how things are going to go, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, it's challenging all the way around.
Yeah.
So I'll ask a couple of questions. So, Your Highness Pansa, so how long have you been in the SCA?
I've been in the SCA for 10 years. There's a little bit of time where I disappeared a bit, personal issues and stuff like that. But I've been with the Horsemen in the SCA for quite a long time.
So you started when you were 2 years old. That's amazing.
Yeah, I wish.
So for Crown Tournament, did you do any special training or special focusing, or was it just kind of the continuation of what you've been normally doing to prepare and fight and practice?
Basically that. Just did a lot of tournaments. Been learning how to get my brain in the right spot. Learning how to kind of go harness that, and getting beat up by Alexander every practice was quite a great experience to have.
It's a great experience, but how about a great learning experience? So.
Yeah.
Well, to each their own, Laertes, honestly.
That's true. Thank you, Beorn, for correcting me. And Your Highness Katherine, how long have you been in the SCA?
Oh boy, 1992.
Wow.
About 28 years.
And you all the whole time in Caid?
Oh no, we at least Alexander, of course, started off when he was in the service in Germany, but he dragged me in when he returned, and we were in the West Kingdom at the time. We were 10 years in the West Kingdom. I know, it was lovely.
Oh yeah, sounds great. So I'm I have an English major, and I'm kind of study languages and stuff, and I think I hear an accent, and I bet you're from like the southern region of France.
say, old man, you're way off there.
Oh, I amuse myself at times. So yeah, it's a British accent.
I was born in England, and I came to America when I was 20.
Wow,
And the accent just never seemed to go away.
that's fantastic. Why would you want it to go away? I mean, listen to the way I talk. You don't want to talk like this. So.
But I don't have an accent. You do, and I really enjoy it.
Well, you should hang out with my friends down in Anstiora if you want an accent to listen to. So.
I think they would greatly appreciate my gentle friends in Meridies and Glenavon if we really want to give them the wonderful American accent trifecta, Anstiora, Meridies, and Glenavon, to see how many vowels we can put in a 3-letter word. It would be wonderful.
That's true. So for your upcoming, okay, here's a question. So for your upcoming reign, y'all are in the same household as the current majesties, and I think there's a family connection. How do you see your reign differentiating itself from the current reign?
Go ahead. Do you have something?
It's difficult being a first reign. We are going to be looking to our advisors to advise us, and
well, that's good enough. I mean, I didn't mean to stump you. No, I mean, it's a tough thing. I know.
Unfortunately, during this time, I was really hoping we could.
He does wear trousers.
Oh,
so that'll be a difference.
There's a difference in that. I also like to think I'm a little bit nicer than he is, so His Majesty is behind
that's
the
tough.
camera right now.
Yeah, if you're going to be wearing pants, I'll start sitting closer to the front of court from now on. So it looks like we're getting some questions from our people that are watching along. We have this question, and don't forget if you're going to ask a question, please sign your name on it because it doesn't show up, as you can see. So you want to read this one, Beorn?
Certainly. So what are Highnesses' favorite foods? From Alexander.
I'm pretty simple on my foods. Finger foods mainly. I can't really have a lot of red meats. My stomach doesn't deal well with it. So if it's a lot of like chicken, turkey kind of mix, that's pretty much what I go for. I eat a lot of lean meats.
And for Her Highness?
Steak and kidney, fish and chips.
Bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash. Oh, yes.
See?
Bangers and mash.
I don't know what that is.
That's all right. I'll tell you later.
Is that old person thing? I don't know.
Wow. Here's another question.
Yeah, no, there's not much I can do against that.
So another question is, what are your Highnesses looking forward to once all of the current situation is lifted? And this is from Lady Brigg.
Being crowned. I mean,
fair enough. I like
actually know, being out there and meeting everybody again, hugging people.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I've never been a big hugger, but I really miss it. I'm really wanting to get back out there.
Definitely. Earlier, kind of like tagging off one of the other questions I was asked by you, Laertes, was, we never really got to learn what it is behind the scenes of being able to see court and how that works, since we're stuck here and we can't really see it. So it'd be a really great time to be able to start being able to see that, and I'm really more looking forward to that, besides being able to hug everybody and be able to see all their faces again. So I really look forward to that too.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the work that goes into it and the dedication and the time to that happens behind the curtain, with all the kingdom officers and the court and the guard. I had the opportunity not to be in those chairs, but to be in those positions and working with the royals and seeing just how much heavy lifting and with a smile and happiness that people offer their time and guidance and and sweat to make things happen. It's pretty amazing. So, we got here's another question that just came in.
All right. So, Prince Pansa, will you be doing any rapier during your reign? This is unsigned.
I've been since our household has a very big rapier group right now. It's I get a chance to go out there, and since now Crown's over, when we start getting back into it, I actually do look forward to doing a little more rapier. I really like to be able to learn it more and more. I find that the precision of rapier really helps out in translation to heavy, as well as vice versa. And I think I can learn a lot. Plus, it's a really great community, and I look forward to being able to hang out with everybody more.
Well, one of our favorites of the show, Baron Nico, has said in the comments that you are pretty formidable with the blade. So that's definitely fair praise.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. He said something nice about me. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how to handle that.
But consider the source, Nico. So yeah. He's my student. I can say it. Let's do one last question. We'll do one for both of you. And then we have a little thing we want to do before we move on. So.
All right. So, Your Highness Pansa, I believe they're referring to you as Panda. So,
autocorrect.
Yeah.
What was your mindset going into Crown Tourney, and then what was your mindset? Did it shift when you were going into the finals?
I was trying to remember a lot of the mental stuff. It was a very mentally heavy day. Before I went into it, I just reminded myself to have fun, just to be able to keep myself in the mindset where I didn't want to be I can't do this. I don't want that negativity. So I tried keeping my head in the right spot the whole time. And towards the end of the finals, it just got to the point where, in my head, I have one job to do, and that's either win or lose. That's pretty much what my mindset was at that point. Afterwards, though, I'm gonna tell you right now that I was mentally drained. I didn't realize how much more work that was going to be compared to other tournaments. So, yeah, it was a great day, though, honestly.
I know it's super tough considering everything that's going on, but do you see yourself, once we're able to start getting together and doing events, trying to hit all the events and keeping yourself busy every weekend? Have you kind of looked at the calendar? I mean, it's so fluid, but there's a question that came up kind of along those lines. It's a little tough to figure out what you're going to do, but have y'all kind of have an idea what you want to do?
Well, our progress, I believe, is up already.
Oh.
And we do have something going on every weekend. The only one that we were obviously Great Western is going to be the big event for us. I don't think we're going to be doing too much traveling. We may go to Hawaii. I believe that they have a knight that needs to be knighted. So that we're looking into. But really, you can't make plans until this wretched pandemic is over.
It's crazy, but it's good to know that once we can hit the ground running, that you'll be out there spending time with all of us, getting things kind of back to normal, and
Definitely.
I mean that's the main thing. I think everyone's kind of looking to a return of normalcy, and spending time with their friends and stabbing with long pieces of steel or hitting with big pieces of grass. So before I wrap this up, there's one thing we'd like to do, just for a little fun, is we like to have a little kind of like a little trivia question for our guests, and we have one for you guys. And Beorn, what's it called?
It's called "We Recognize You."
So you're going to meet a lot of people when you're on the throne, and they're going to expect you to know their names and everything. Well, that's not what we're going to ask you about. I don't remember.
I didn't prep myself on this.
But one of the other things you get to do is you get to recognize people for their endeavors by handing out awards. So I thought it'd be fun, because I know you guys have been practicing and studying up on this during your time, to name any of the AOA or above awards that the kingdoms that you'll have the opportunity to recognize people with. So there's 16 AOA or above awards. So I just want to see how many of you guys can name in the next 90 seconds. Are you good with this?
So AOA and above, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And are you ready for this? This is good.
I think I'm.
Oh,
both
don't-
of us, right?
Yeah.
You want to go? You want to do yours first, and then we'll see.
Just randomly name stuff, and I'll tell you if you're right or not. Are you ready?
You
Okay.
can do all the warriors.
Okay, here you go, and go.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
Go. Hop.
Yep.
Crescent.
Mhm.
Dolphin. Lux. What's the other one? Can't remember. Go.
Oh, so AOA obviously, Crescent Sword, Gauntlet, Corps de Guerre, I believe. Is that one of them? Let's see.
Arcus.
What's that?
Arcus.
Arcus.
That's the new.
Arcus. That's the Archer one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
We need more.
Yeah, we need
I
more.
should know them. I'm an artist. I do all the paintwork.
The pressure.
Peerages.
This is ridiculous.
I did all the fighting ones. Oh, not all of them yet. No, the
Well,
Master of Defense, correct? That's one of
There
them.
might be some peerages in that group.
Duelist, yeah.
Duelist is another one.
Duelist.
Okay.
Duelist.
You have 30 seconds. Peerages.
Peerages. Oh, Baron, Baroness, Knight, Laurel, Pelican,
Oh, there you go. You're doing good. You're doing good. You only have 6 left.
Rapier. What's the rapier one?
You got duelist.
Duelist.
Duelist. There's another one. Cross swords. No. What is it?
Archery.
Archery. Well, yes, archery. Is the Arcus? That's the only one. Isn't no.
Okay, well, time's up. You did really good. I mean, I can't name all 16 of them either. So the only ones we didn't get was the Crescent for service, grant level.
Oh,
yes.
got it.
Yeah, or the croissant, because I'd love if they handed croissants out when you got them. The Argent Blade, which is the new grant level rapier award. And then we have the Argent Arrow, the Chiron for archery. And the Equestrian has the Chamfron and the Golden Lance. So, and Corps de Guerre is a non-omnivorous award. So
Oh, got it. Okay.
that's okay. I can do that one. And B&B, look at the boss people around, but it's not an award. But
Although the court barony does come with an award of arms.
it does. A court barony does. So I'll give you that.
There's also the Naked Grant, which is very rarely given, but they do have them here.
Ooh, I got in trouble with the Naked Grant one.
Was that Naked Grant?
Yeah, it's not associated to a specific award, but it's a grant level recognition. Yes, naked.
You're giving us an award to give to somebody that's naked. This should be interesting. Okay.
Well, they offered chivalry to a pantsless dude, so you know. People are fair. Well, Your Highness, thank you so much for spending time with us this evening and taking questions from the populace and dealing with the wackiness that we do.
Pleasure.
I look forward to us straightening out what's going on and the opportunity to see y'all up there on the thrones. And thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Highnesses.
Oh, where did he go? Oh, I just lost Beorn. Hold on. There he is. So that was cool, Beorn.
It was a lot of fun. And honestly, yeah, I don't think I could have named them all either. But that just shows the boundless riches of Caid, which is what I was doing earlier when I was looking for additional websites before we have in our next guest, looking up all of the wonderful artisanal riches we have here,
Right.
as opposed to artesian riches, which I think is just waterfalls.
Yeah, I totally wrote down the list because I remembered all of them. So anyway, so speaking of our next guest, who do we have coming up for performance?
We are very blessed to have the most recent former Bard of Caid, Mistress Mary Dedwydd verch Gwallter, and she is going to be coming and giving us a performance, and we're very fortunate to have her with us this evening.
All righty, well, I'm going to bring her in, and you'll go away for a minute. Thank you, Beorn. Hi, Mary.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I think I just, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. So
Upright and functional.
You're actually not in Caid right now, are you?
Nope. I am actually with family in Atenveld. I didn't mean to be,
Right.
but I am in Atenveld this evening, and fingers crossed I'll be home tomorrow.
Well, I appreciate you making arrangements in order to be on tonight and kind of share your talents with everyone. That's great. I do appreciate it.
Sorry, one of my grandchildren was knocking on the door, and I was explaining to them that no, they don't need to knock on the door right now.
So, what did you get your laurel in?
My laurel is in poetry as a primary and a secondary in performance.
Wow. So it's a good thing we have you on this evening.
Mainly because I'm a gigantic grade A Farmer John ham.
Okay.
Big ham.
Oh, got it. Okay. It's the distance. I didn't.
My humor frequently doesn't translate, so it's fine. I'm used to it.
So what are you going to perform for us today?
I actually have a story to tell, and I was going to tell it in persona.
Oh, awesome. So I want to give you the opportunity. I will go away and let's have you share your story with us.
It is a fine evening as we sit in shelter here in the house, sitting by the fire and keeping safe from another bout of the plague. I'm minded of the tales my da used to tell as we sat at home, and one of my favorites was the story he used to tell of a time when the world was very young, and Killich, who was a cousin of King Arthur. Killich fell in love with a fair Olwen who had hair as yellow as broom and eyes like the sun in the sky. And she was the daughter of the giant Yspaddaden, who was chief giant at the time and a worse, more awful giant you've never seen. But Killich would have her and none other. And so he went, and he approached the giant Yspaddaden to ask for her hand. And the giant gave Killich a series of tasks. And it's not really all that important to know which ones they were. It's enough to know that every one of them was well nigh impossible to do, much less the multitude of them. But for love of their friend Killich, his friends and comrades undertook to do those tasks for him. And one of his friends was Gwallter, the son of Gradle. And the particular task that Gradle undertook was a difficult one because, you see, Yspaddaden had scattered out 9 full bushels of flax seeds, black and white, amongst the meadows and the glens, and he insisted that every single flax seed must be gathered up that very day before the sun set. And Gwallter, though he didn't know how he was to accomplish it, undertook this task for love of his comrade Killich. And as he walked the glens and the meadows and he looked about and he wondered how he was to gather 9 bushels of flax seeds before the sunset, he heard an outcry. And he looked about him and he saw that a fire had sprung up about an anthill, and the ants were quite trapped and they couldn't escape. And so Gwallter, being a kind-hearted soul, drew his sword and he beat out the flames and he stomped out the flames and he saved the anthill. And the king of the ants came up and he said, "Good sir, thank you so kindly. You've saved us and we owe you a life debt. What can we do to help you as you have saved us?" And Gwallter said, I don't know. I have a task and I don't know how you can help me because I have to gather up 9 bushels of flax seeds before the sun sets, or my friend will not have the woman he loves. And the king of the ants said, "Aha, this I think we can assist you with." And he whistled and he gave instructions to all of his kinsmen and all of his subjects, and they came up out of that anthill like a black river, and out they went, out among the glens and out among the meadows, and all day long they went out and they came back, and they went out and they came back, and they brought those flax seeds in, filling up bushel bag after bushel bag, and after each one, Yspaddaden looked at the bag and he lifted it up and said, "Oh, and he marked it off. And he marked it off. And as they went through all the day long, just as the sun
What's a cliffhanger? Oh, and we've lost her. Let's see if she calls back in. So, hi. Well, that's the fun part of being live, I guess. Let's see if she's able to call back in just a moment. Beorn, if you'd like to, I will reach out to Mary and let her know she dropped. And
I will do that immediately.
okay. So while we're doing that, and I'm kind of wondering how that ended, well, I'll talk about who our guests are for next week as Beorn reaches out to Mary and see if we can come back in. Next week, on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific, we're going to have the Great Western War Stewards. They're going to be here, all three of them. Oh, and here she's back. So, there we are. Hold on, she's coming back. Let me turn this off. It was a cliffhanger.
and there was Rear. And he didn't know what to do. He had one flaxseed left to find, and he looked about and he heard again a cry, "Wait, wait for me!" And he looked, and there, as fast as his wee legs could carry him, was the one last ant, the very smallest one, with a lame leg, and he was carrying the last flaxseed. And he climbed up the side of the bag, and just as the sun set behind the mountains, dropped the flaxseed down into the bag. And Yspaddaden was forced to admit that the task had been fulfilled. And I remember asking Da, what does that have to do with anything? And he would look at me and he would say, well, the thing is you always need to be ready. If you can give help, to give it. And if you can receive help, be willing to receive it. Because each and every one of us, at one time or another in our lives, is a lame ant. We're wee and broken, but able to give the last measure. And I felt like that was a good story to tell tonight. And I thank you. So there's my tale.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Sorry for the suspense in the middle of it, but
my apologies for the interruptions.
Well, Aidenfeld, who knows?
It's the Wi-Fi in Aidenfeld. Who knows?
They're probably still on dial-up. But that was an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that with everyone tonight. I know we all appreciate it.
And thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Well, safe travels home. I hope it's less eventful than your first attempt.
Fewer adventures, better.
And good luck finding that mythical place where you live. It's like Brigadoon. So.
Oh, great. Now there's going to be compositions with Dry Brigand in it. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay.
We have a great evening. Enjoy the grandkids, and we'll see you when you're back in Kingdom.
Excellent. And you as well. Take care.
Be safe, cousin.
Well, that was an amazing story. So,
quite prescient given the current circumstances. Yes.
Yes. So amazing. So, as I was saying, for our next week's show, we're going to have the Great Western War Stewards. All three of them are scheduled to appear, talk about the preparations that are happening for Great Western War, kind of give us the latest information on what's going on and the challenges that lie ahead. And so are they the Great Western War Stewards, or are they the Great Western War Stewards?
That's a good question. I would assume Great Western War Stewards.
But the website says Great Western War Stewards, which to me is like saying I use the ATM machine, because the ATM means automated teller machine. So you're using the anyway. We'll find out.
And also, depending upon the war, like Penzik and Lilies, Estrella, Gulf Wars, they have a war steward, and their job is to manage all of the scenarios for the war points. and that is a separate steward during the war. So if there are a bunch of war stewards, then they all handle the scenarios as opposed to everything else.
They could be the Great Western War stewards, and then there's the Great Western War steward. So we'll find out. And then for our bardic performance, we're going to have Maestro Lot Ramirez come in and share.
That would be wonderful.
So that should be a great show. Let's thank everyone that was here today. Thank you, Your Highnesses. Thank you, Mistress Mary. Thank you, Beorn. I appreciate it as always.
My pleasure.
And thank you for watching. I hope you all had a good evening. We'll be back next week. And when we are next week, let's try that again. Take two. We'll cut it out. Thank you everyone for watching. And when we are back next week, we'll be live from Caid.
Live from Caid.
And have
Take
a good.
care of yourself, Laertes.
Well, it's this way. You too. All
Bye,
right.
everyone.